Welcome back to my build of the Strike Freedom Gundam. In the last video, I was able to complete the torso, and so with this one, I'm going to be starting on the head. So, something you need to keep in mind is that the head, while one of the smaller parts, and also a fairly quick one to build, has a lot of very small parts to it. That means that you need to be very careful not to drop anything or lose anything. One of the things that I really liked about the MG over the HG head was the layering effect. The HG heads that I've built before were very simple. They had a front piece, a back piece, and generally an inner piece that had the eyes and goatee section. This one has multiple layers to the face itself, in addition to a front and back for the helmet. And then, of course, they both have the crest, although, again, with this one, the crest is made of multiple pieces instead of just one or two. So I'm using the tweezers, or not tweezers, the pliers to hold the parts while I shave the nubs off, because these are, again, very, very small pieces, and it would be very easy to cut yourself if you are trying to hold these parts between your fingers. You need a little bit extra distance and extra dexterity and finesse in holding them while you shave the nubs off. But again, you need to be very careful not to knock the pieces out of whatever you're using to hold it while you're trying to apply some pressure for shaving. So if you are familiar with Gundam or Gunpla, you'll know that generally the Gundam have a pair of chevrons on the mask section where the Gundam's mouth would be. I wanted these chevrons to be a distinct color to help set them off, and so I applied a little bit of green paint into them. Now, the green paint did not just apply into the chevrons themselves, and also coated a little bit of the part around the chevrons, which I did not want. So I took a crafting swab. It's a little bit harder and more pointy than a standard cotton swab. And I swiped it, brushed it over the chevrons, being careful not to go into the depressions in order to wipe the excess paint away while leaving the paint inside the chevrons where I wanted it. So I've talked in the past about the difficulties in finding Gunpla in China. It's not widely available in the stores, and you generally have to go online to find it. However, one of the benefits of purchasing Gunpla in China is the cost. I was able to purchase the Strike Freedom Gundam for about $36 as opposed to about $50 when I looked up the price in the States. So Gunpla is a little bit cheaper than you would otherwise have to spend in America. As always, when you're building a model, try and make sure that your knife has a good sharp blade, and keep some of the shavings dusted off of it as well. I generally use my thumb swiping from back to front on the blade so I don't cut myself to do this. So I generally prefer not to use stickers if I can avoid it. And so one of the things I'm doing here is I'm painting the eyes. This will help them have a little bit more glow to them using a metallic paint rather than stickers. However, one thing you have to keep in mind is that this piece that the eyes are on is a clear plastic. Now, the eyes are a raised section, which means it is a similar technique to what I used for the chevrons, but in reverse. That means that when I go back at it with the cotton swab, I am attempting to take away the excess paint that has gotten onto the lower section rather than removing excess paint from around a depression. This is actually harder to do than removing it from a depression, and with metallic paint, such as what I'm using for the eyes, I find that I have to be more careful, because if I rub at the metallic paint in a bad way, it will lose its sheen, which of course is what I like about it. The other thing is that the part is a clear plastic, and I actually went back over it later off camera, I'm sorry, and painted around the eyes with a dark blue color as well, just to help the gold eyes pop that little bit more.
So your aunt was just leaving. I wrote to the zoo to send me a pet.
So here I have the face fully constructed, I have the eyes painted, and I am clipping out the helmet section, the back specifically, to put it all into it. I do like the PC plastic. It is a softer plastic. It tends to cut off and clip more cleanly. And it's much easier to shave any nubs that do come off with it. Although with the PC plastic being softer, being a little bit more flexible, I've found that it generally doesn't have a lot of excess flashing to shave off of it. My apologies for the camera moving there a little bit. My wife accidentally knocked into it when she was talking to me. And then she had to move it back. So you'll notice that I am opening up and looking at the stickers here. So what I'm doing is I'm actually using the stickers for a reference to try and figure out what areas I might want to paint and what I might want to use as stickers. Again, I try and use metallic paints instead of stickers. They add a little bit more glow effect. And one of the things I can use the stickers do for is to reference what kind of paints, what colors, and in addition, when I might want to use the stickers instead as well. Be careful not to drop pieces. So initially I had put the faceplate into the back of the helmet, but I had forgotten to put the receiver for the nub to connect it to the torso section. I am applying a little bit of silver metallic paint to the faceplate as well, in areas where it would have some glow. So I hope you enjoyed this bit of the Gundam build, and I will see you with the next video.